Hey, it's all about quality, not about quantity. Right? Let's get back to another round of Brewsday Tuesday with DreZ and Big Nate.
And a happy Brewsday Tuesday to you all. It is DreZ and Big Nate in studio, popping tops, and we got to give credit where credit's due. Our awesome sponsor, the Cellar Restaurant, six-pack store, downtown Blacksburg. Did you know that they're not just a restaurant, not just a beer store? It's both. They're even connected. You can go into the beer store,
Crosses right over.
and pick out whatever kind of crazy awesome beer, and then just bring it on over and eat it with your delicious, Euro or whatever you get.
You ever done that thing? I'll sit at the bar, get the Philly cheesesteak, have a beer or two, and then decide, I need to go to the six-pack store before I leave. I'm taking this show on the road. And the best thing about it is right there in the gateway between the restaurant and the six-pack store, make a pit stop in the bathroom. You're set. You're ready to go.
Bathroom is right there.
Perfect location.
It is. It works out
It's
well.
well thought out.
And that's the other thing that's nice is, you can. I like the idea of having a beer when you're shopping for beer, and you can certainly do that, which is great. It's a win-win over there. So I digress. Now, full disclosure, this beer did not come from the Cellar Restaurant six-pack store. This beer came from when I was beer shopping down in North Carolina after going to a certain concert, if I do remember correctly, and I found from Noda Brewing Company, which is from
North Dakota?
No, they're out of Charlotte, actually. That's why I was trying to lead you up with the thing. Okay, either way.
Yeah, but with a name like Noda, you got to be a North Dakota brewery.
You would think so. I don't know where that came from, but this one I thought was appropriate because of the title and because it just sounds good. We have Radio Haze, which is a juicy / hazy IPA coming in at 6%. And I wish it was our name and logo down at the bottom, but I guess maybe this was in conjunction with
I'll make some calls.
Woody and Wilcox at 106.5, The End, that must be down there in Charlotte. So,
that's what we needed. We need a Brewsday Tuesday beer.
I know we've talked about it with some breweries here and there in the area, but nothing ever really came to fruition. You know what really happened was it was going to be we were going to do the Bears' 21st birthday, and we were going to do the beer, and of course that was in 2020, and
we all know what happened that year.
That went by the wayside pretty quick, unfortunately. But yeah, you're right. We should do a beer. Can't believe we haven't done that yet.
I mean, I can do the label. I should be not at all involved with making the beer.
I can tell them what I'd like it to taste like,
yes,
and what the ABV I would shoot for.
I feel like I'd just be throwing ideas out there, and like, all right, well, now what you're saying just doesn't make any sense. Just make it happen, okay? Ooh. Good Lord,
man, this has got some. Wow,
I like that label.
Didn't taste how I thought. Yeah, it's got like a record kind of.
It's kind of got
and then it's like got the sound waves.
It's a mix of like urban radio and a little bit of like with the way everything kind of trickles on there is the Ralph Steadman of a Flying Dog and Hunter S. Thompson fame.
A little bit. What you got over there, man?
So, I grew up in the 90s, and naturally West Coast, East Coast beef was well alive, and Death Row Records put out a beer for their 30th anniversary, which was 2021, so we're going back in time again.
Another old beer
on this segment, but honestly, for me, this was just a cart filler to get those Deftones beers we had a couple months back. But
was it to get the free shipping or something?
Yeah, which is ridiculous. I paid $3 to save $2.
No, but you got a beer out of it.
I did, and we're yeah, that's right. We'll see how it was, but it's the Death Row West Coast IPA, and looks like it was done in partnership with, obviously, Death Row Records, Hip Hop Craft, Beer Thug Life, and, the brewery put their logo on here, smallest of all, so I don't know if that bodes well, but Boomtown Brewery in Los Angeles, California. It's a 7% West Coast IPA.
So they paired it where they should. That makes sense.
Yeah.
But actually, the beer shipping thing reminded me. I'm sure you saw the article. I know I mentioned it on my show a couple weeks ago. The vulgar display of lager, the Pantera beer, and I was ready to pull the trigger because the article just came out and they said the first 500 orders you get a free poster and all that. So I'm like, oh hell yeah, a 4-pack, $20, $5 a beer. I'm like, okay, that's doable. But then when I go to check out and shipping costs more than the beer, then I'm just like, come on. I'm not about to pay over $10 per beer, you know?
That's why, I mean, as much as possible, I like to shop locally in brick and mortar stores, but they get you all the time with that. There are certain online retailers where you like, you know, you're looking for an item and it's like, well, this is not something that like I'm really wanting to invest a lot of money in. I kind of just need it quick and one-time use, whatever. And then you'll do that like price sort low to high. Well, it doesn't include the shipping, and it just completely like it's 99 cents. All right, that's a hell of a deal. Why is shipping $25?
Because that's how
like
they
that
get
should
you.
have bumped it way lower.
I actually fell victim to that just last night when we were like, all right, it's starting to get hot in the house. We need to get a fan. And I was like, oh, this one's on Amazon. It was $50, but here on eBay it's only 10. And she's like, well, look at the shipping. The shipping's $60. I was like, oh yeah,
I hate that.
That's not gonna work.
So
very
disingenuous.
good. Yeah. What a bunch of BS, man. What are you gonna do? Well,
Drink a beer about it.
yeah, not buy the Pantera beer. Hopefully it'll come around to one of the stores. I need to talk with Mikey, see if he can get that in. That'd be sweet. But yeah, man, I just can't. And it makes sense. I know that liquid's heavy, and it, you know, you're gonna be paying expensive shipping. But
And you also don't want your cans to explode en route.
yeah, I wish it had that option of just like, oh, we'll just buy more of the beer and then we'll ship it for free. Then I probably would have actually. Although that is a bit of a gamble though too, because I don't like to
terrible?
buy. I always don't. I try not to buy, you know, a full 6-pack or, God forbid, a case in this case, probably to try and get free shipping of a beer that you haven't had. Because if it sucks, then well, what are you gonna do? I guess just hand it out to friends as stocking stuff.
Yeah, it is nice to have that ability to pick and choose and mix and match. And of course, I've ordered beer probably 4 times in my life. And the only time I've ordered like a confident, I was confident enough in my order to order that it was the Deftones. I think it was an 8-pack that we ended up getting of the, and that's the only time I felt confident enough to order all of what I was getting.
This will work. Yeah. Yeah, it's a bit of a roll of the dice, but you know, you win some, you lose some when you gamble. That's just how it works.
Fact of life. Going back to our poker conversation.
All right. Yeah, I don't know. We got nothing to talk about. This is an open subject.
We really should have done this with the Seinfeld doo-doo-doo-doo-doo-doo in the background because
this is a show about nothing. I don't know where else to go. I guess we could start to preview. I mean,
I actually, you know what? No, I do have something I want to talk
What do
about
you got?
because
What do
it
you
is
got?
National Hanging Out Day. Where's the coolest place you've hung out and had a beer? Because of course that's like an iconic thing. Like I always think of King of the Hill, and they're always hanging out by the fence drinking their beer. What's been the best place you've hung out and had a beer?
oh man, that's tough. So, you know, we did the RV trip and traveled a lot last year, and there were a couple instances where, like, you know, I hiked to the top of a Munro in Scotland so that I could have a beer up there. That was pretty awesome. I've drank beer on many beaches, many man, yeah. Oh, where's the coolest place that I've hung out and had a beer? That is such a good question. But at the same time, like, I think some of the coolest spots is concerts, man. Like having a beer at a show, that's some of the best. Festivals,
Concerts, festivals.
Most unique spot was probably the top of the Munro in Scotland. That was really cool. Just a very scenic, you know, brew with a view situation kind of deal. And of course, it was even that much more enjoyable because, I mean, the hike up sucked. It's hot. There were like these bugs that were just like attacking us nonstop, like these horsefly things. And then to get to the top, we're like, they filter out because they can't be up that high, and then to have the reward of the beard. And the fact of the matter, you're also lugging it up the mountain with you, so it makes it so it's lighter on the way down and stuff.
And unless you stop off, you're lugging it back down too.
Exactly. So that might have been one of the coolest spots that I got to hang out and have a beer. But I mean, I don't know. You just threw this on me out of the room.
There was no prep, guys. Mm-hmm. We're really just hanging out and winging it. But
what do you got?
I'm really honestly trying to think. There were a couple of places in Seattle that were pretty cool. Top of the Space Needle is a cool place to have a beer.
Mm-hmm. I've done that.
I honestly do have to go with kind of that festival concert route. My favorite place in the whole wide world to have beer is at Floyd Fest. Because it's just so beautiful, and like they have such good beer on tap, and
they do have a good
no
selection.
obligations. Your cell phone doesn't work, so it's not like people are texting you and harassing you.
That is nice about that.
I got to go with Floyd Fest, I think.
Floyd Fest,
Space Needle, close second.
Great spot to have beer. In fact, we need to tap them, and I mean, I know the tradition is we go out there and do the show and stuff. So, I haven't touched base with them. I know Huck was kind of the proprietor of that, but hopefully we can maybe do that. Maybe we can even get Huck in there. I don't know. We'll see. That'd be awesome. But yeah, we need to get out there to Floyd Fest because I know the birds are chirping that it might be the last time that they're at that location. So we'll see.
I keep hearing the rumors.
I feel like
at the very least we need clarification on that.
Yeah, I feel like I've heard that before though. So I'm not take that with a grain of salt. But yeah, I mean definitely festivals and the fun atmosphere. Just because when you think of hanging out, it means you're just having a good time and enjoying some good beers, which I don't know how you're feeling, but this Nada, man, this it's a little different than I imagined. There's definitely some. I was looking to see if there's any sort of more input of what actually went into this beer, but it's not just juicy and hazy, man. There's definitely some fruity kind of notes to it. There's some type of a citrus or something in here that I can't quite put my finger on exactly what it is, but I mean, certainly on the nose, and then obviously once you taste it too, but it makes it a little bit bitter, but still very palatable. This is not it's almost like a shandy meets hazy in my mind, which pretty good. Again, with the weather getting warmer, this is something that could be fantastic in that regard. I'd say it's probably the Radio Haze from Noda Brewing Company. I'd probably give it a 4.25. It's good beer.
All right.
Only 6% though. It could be a little bit beefier.
This Death Row West Coast IPA from Boomtown Brewery. It's very much a straightforward West Coast IPA. You get exactly what is described on the label. I feel like this is probably, I mean, obviously we use it as a shipping filler. It's nothing special, no frills. It's very much so. I think you're paying for the label on this one.
Yeah.
I don't hate it at all. I don't love it. It is. Oh. It's kind of like, I mean, they could have just put beer on here and, yep, I got a beer.
Here's the beer about Death Row.
It's very much a novelty. Probably shouldn't have opened the can, but we did, and I'm gonna be honest with you. It's coming in right at the middle of the road. It's got the hops you would expect. It's got the color you'd expect, but none of the flavors are really kicking it up a notch. And
well, you also got to remember it was a 2000. It's over.
That's
a year
the other
old.
thing is it is well,
and it's traveled
at minimum 2021. So at minimum it is 4 months old at this point, but potentially. It is 16 months old, so I don't have a date line on that, which is also that I feel like you have an ethical responsibility if you're making a beer. If you're going to take the time and effort and love that it takes to do that, you should put a Best By date on your can regardless.
I do appreciate those, or at least a can date, so you have an idea of how old it is.
But very middle of the road, I'm going to give it a 3.
Wow.
And that's not to say, I mean, there are much lower scores in my Untapped, but 3. Threes get degrees.
Yeah.
In the school of Big Nate.
Oh, boy. All right. Well, there you go. Well, and you even said they, the brewery put their logo down there in small. It's not about the beer. You're right. It's a novelty can. So I guess you could lower your expectations in that regard, and probably is delivering about as you would expect.
That is fact.
All right. Well, there you go. Brewsday Tuesday, a fun little just sort of, whatever show. Next week might be something similar. I don't know. I was going to preview and try and talk out what we're going to do, but I'm not 100% sure what that might be. I guess time will tell.
We're taking it one day at a time.
But one thing I do
how
know,
time moves for everyone.
We'll be drinking, and that's what matters. Quick
See you
break.
there.
We'll get back to the tunes. 105.3 The Bear. Stick around.